Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Busby. I'm a lawyer here in Houston. I'm licensed in Texas and in New York, and I'll introduce other members of our team as they speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive, but it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. And I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California. Another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already.
Lord.
And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases.
They won't shock
There
me.
are indeed other perpetrators involved.
They won't shock me.
They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly, but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are in fact individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul with the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlogged, untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control. the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline, and I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works.
Okay, let me stop that. Because if you read my title, it says, who you trust and who have you entrusted? Because when you putting your trust in these people that are supposedly helping to pave the way for your children, do you know exactly what they're getting into? Are you there every step of the process? Because if you're not, it gives room for this type of stuff to happen, because the child is then left without protection. The protection is supposed to come from the parents in all situations. When that child is a minor, the protection is supposed to come from the parents. They should be there every step of the way. So what happens when you take that power out of the hands of the parents, or the power is relinquished over to someone else out of the hands of the parents? Then you leave room for this type of shit to happen. It's very, very concerning to me that the youngest victim was 9 years old. 9 fucking years, 9 years old. That's a baby. You got a baby already in this environment? Like, how did this happen? Where are the parents? Where are the parents? What was in the parents' mind that they thought it was okay to relinquish their control over to strangers regarding their child? Now we're in the situation right now in 2024 where we got all of these fucking victims coming out. And if I sound enraged, it's because I am enraged. I am. You're speaking to a childhood victim. You're speaking to a child who's been abused. You're speaking to a child who has been violated sexually. You're speaking to a child who's been sodomized against her fucking will. Yes, I take it personally. Yes, I do. And when I say I know a victim when I see one, I know a victim when I hear one. Talking about, well, why did it take you so long to come forth? What the fuck do you mean? Do you think you were the first that they told this shit happened? When clearly some of them are saying that they are afraid of being ostracized by their own kin, not being believed by their own kin. I can't even go. So if I told my fucking family and they did nothing, they dismissed it, they looked the other fucking way. Then who else do I have? Like 120 victims just from this lawyer's mouth. That don't mean this is all the victims. 120 victims across 4 fucking states. Manhattan. That's one of the richest areas in New York, isn't it? Now, who the fuck you think is in and up and out through there? Miami. A well-known a location for partying. Georgia. Specifically Atlanta. And then, of course, California. So I'm trying to figure out between 1991 and 2024, what the fuck were these parents doing? What were these parents doing? What the fuck were you doing? What the fuck were you doing? Did you check on your child? Were you phased, removed, dismissed by money? You threw your child, you gave your child to the wolves. Of you. Every last one of you gonna reap what you sow too. If you stood by while this shit was happening, you did nothing. Your child came to you and told you what was happening. Or scratch that, was afraid to tell you of what was happening. Why would your child be afraid to tell you? Why would your child not be comfortable with telling you? Why was there no security? All you fucking enablers out here, to include the fucking media. It's his word against hers This is a child we talking about. You think that shit goes away because they become adults? They're locked in the situation that they're fucking in. They're too terrified to get out because they've been threatened. You're threatening their livelihood. To keep a fucking secret. If you ain't doing nothing wrong, then why the fuck can they not talk? Why can't they talk? Why can't they tell anybody what they experienced? They might not understand what the fuck just happened. And they need to talk to somebody, and you telling them not to open their mouth. Why were drugs found in their fucking systems? Because if I'm not mistaken, you cannot consent to any fucking thing if you're incoherent, incapacitated. A child can't consent to sex. Not according to this law in this country. A child can't consent to sex. And the law in this land is you're not an adult until you're 18. The youngest victim was 9. Why are y'all coming after these fucking children? That's what I want to know. Why the fuck y'all going after these kids? Why y'all get them so fucking young? And what the fuck are you telling the parents? Or are you not telling them? You telling the parents what they need to hear? Excuse me. You're telling the parents what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. You leaving out the details. Those same details that I think these kids knew about. But you threaten them that if they talk, something was going to happen to them. Maybe not even happen to them. Something was going to happen to their family. We're going to take away your money. We're going to end your deals. These are people who can be controlled by material things. That means that much to you that you'll sell out your child? Because that's what I want to know. And why the hell these children went through this experience and then they felt like they could not go to their own family members. Why is it that 62% of the people who came forward were African American? No, fuck that. Black Americans. They're Black Americans. They're Black Americans. 62%. And you know why I believe these victims? That they felt like they couldn't come to their parents. They couldn't come to their family members. You know why I believe them? Because I was one of them. Y'all some of the first ones to be like, are you sure that happened? It didn't happen like that. Why you just not coming out? How we know you telling the truth? You know what that does to a victim? They experienced this shit. And you questioning them because they decided to open their mouth? And then you wonder why they don't come forward. Why you not hearing about it till 15, 20 fucking years later? How the fuck you be? How is it that you're the victim and you continue to get victimized after you decide to come out and say something? Isn't that what the fuck y'all are telling people? If you see something, say something. If it happened to you, we're not going to know if you don't open your mouth. What happened to a closed mouth don't get fed. And then they come out and you do nothing. It took for celebrities to get caught up in some bullshit for people like me to finally be heard. So they had to come up, they had to go up against somebody with money first. And it still ain't no fucking easier. It still ain't no easier. Not when they can take this money and use it to their advantage by trying to pay their way out of fucking jail. And since we're talking about jail, who the fuck cares that P. Diddy in there complaining about the living conditions in jail? I don't give a fuck. Why do you care? The conditions in the jail are deplorable. Who the fuck cares? This nigga got a deplorable soul. He's right where he need to fucking be, with the rat. I heard the attorney say that they have other victims. Excuse me. They have other perpetrators, other people that they're going to go after. But they're not announcing the names. Let me tell you something. You don't have to announce the names because a lot of us already know who these players are. Some of them, they just need you. They need to wait to see what you put out first. But we already know who they are. The real question is, if they don't have nothing to hide and they didn't do anything, then why the fuck they got to be quiet? Why the fuck why you not talking? All you motherfucking celebrities out here that have been a part of this shit, all of y'all are going down, including the watchers. Y'all are staying silent. Why? To protect your resources, to protect your money, to protect your brand. What fucking protection? When your name gets thrown the fuck out there, you're done. You're done. As you should be. You expect somebody to respect you. We've been taking care of your ass all this fucking time, if you think about it. The consumers are taking care of you bitches. All of you. You're protecting yourself. This ain't about y'all. This is about these kids. You gonna sell out somebody else's child, Usher? But you won't sell out your own. What about you, J-Lo? Are your kids in the business too? Beyonce? The females are worse to me than the males. They're worse to me. They're worse. They are worse to me than the males. Especially if they were not just watchers, but they were complicit in the trafficking. Like building a fucking school and going to put girls in it and claiming that you're doing it for a good fucking cause. What the fuck are you really doing in them schools? What you really telling them girls? Do they really know what you got them in there for? Because you next. I want to know what's going on with that. How many of them girls had to suffer with this shit? Because this shit was like a club. If you wasn't down for the fucking cause, you couldn't be a part of the club. And trust me, they know. They want sheep. People who not gonna question. And they get children. They get children because children are the most vulnerable. They're the most innocent. You can mold them the most. And this goes back to the fucking parents. Like I said, your obligation was to your children. And you sold them. You sold them. How could this shit have happened without the parents having a part in it? Your child should have never felt like they couldn't come to you and talk to you and tell you what's going on with them. Why would they feel like they wouldn't get the support of their family? Let me tell you something. For all you motherfucking naysayers out here who don't believe shit until it's in your motherfucking face. Okay? That shit is real. It's fucking real. For you to be molested, raped, and victimized as a child, and then you go and you tell an adult like you're told to do, and they do nothing. They say, let me talk to them first. And depending on what that adult tells them, they do or do nothing. So at that point, the child may feel like, I have no one. I can trust no one. What am I going to tell somebody for? They're not going to do anything about it. Trust an adult, why? So they say nothing. They say nothing. And that's why they come out 15, 20, 25 fucking years later. You've killed something in that child. You've killed their innocence. Maybe y'all need to be asking yourself, how is it so fucking easy for these celebrities to get their bullshit covered up, to keep it covered up, that this has been allowed to happen for years? We're talking decades. If it's still happening decades later, it's still being perpetrated. It's still being perpetrated. And the real question is, who's doing it? How are they doing it? It's the people that you put your trust in. That's who it is. It's the people you're putting your trust in that's doing this to you. Who does that include? Who does that include? If you think about the people that this includes, the people that are supposed to be advocating, supporting, and creating these opportunities, who do you think that is? Who's creating these opportunities for you? The people that have the means to do it. That's who's doing it. The people who have the means to do it. That's who's fucking doing it. How is it that when Rihanna got into the game, her father was spoken to? When Rihanna left her town, Barbados, when she left alone. She left alone. She left as a teenager. Now, how the hell did that shit happen? Father, how the hell that shit happen? How did that happen? How did it happen for a teenager to get on a flight to another fucking country? With no parents. And you knew what was going to happen. You knew that this 15, 16-year-old girl was going to be in good hands. Why did you think she was going to be in good hands? Because the person that she was going to do business with, you put your trust in. Jay-Z. You think Rihanna knew what she was getting into when she left and got on that plane to go do business with Jay-Z? That's what I want to know. At 15, 16-year-old, do you know what you're getting into at that age? Or is it that you see an opportunity for your dream to come true because of all that's put out in front of you? And you feel like you want to do it. You can't blame Rihanna for wanting to follow her dream or want to take hold of this opportunity that was given to her for her to pursue her dream. That's any child. That's any child. But Rihanna's dad got a check. A $500,000 check at that. And I'm going to assume he had no idea what was happening to his daughter. That she had just been bought. If you look at some of these people, if you look at some of these people in the celebrity business, okay, look at some of them, okay? Look at some of them. And you're not going to tell me you can't figure out, you haven't thought about in your mind, how the hell is it that he's with her or she's with him? How did that happen? I'm going to throw some names out here for all you fucking idolizers because I'm going to call you what you are. You damn idolizers. I'm going to call some names out to you. Don't be surprised if some of these names you hear again and again. But I'm going to call these names out to you. Julie Greenwald. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin, David Geffen, Neil Young, oh goodness, Clive Davis, what is his name? Jimmy Irvine. Sean Carter. Well, I said Jay-Z already. French Montana, Ellen DeGeneres, Meek Mill, Oprah Winfrey, I'm throwing these names out here because some of these names are going to come up again. Trust and believe they're going to come up again. They sure will. Let me tell you something. The God that they worship is not the God you probably thought. But they're just calling them God because that's what you that's a word you understand. Right? That's a word you fucking understand. So that's what they're going to call. That's what they're going to call them. Another thing I want to bring to y'all attention. I said it before. Don't get so caught up in this P. Diddy shit that you are not paying attention to the shit that's going on in politics. Because I just listened to a briefing a couple of days ago. Did y'all know that the government is preparing, along with other countries, to build a transcontinental rail network that is ultimately going to connect the Indian Ocean to the Atlantic? And the hub is going to be in Angola, Africa. Did y'all know that? Let me play this clip for you real quick. I'm going to play this clip for you. Make sure you listen. I just want y'all to listen to this real quick.
Get April.
Green,
I'll call you first. Go ahead.
the issue of Angola, why Angola for President Biden now, specifically as other presidents have gone to other countries, and Angola is like something totally new since the Clinton administration for U.S. president?
So a couple of things. So he's going to be holding a bilateral and multilateral meetings to discuss increased collaboration of shared priorities, including a signature project of the G7 Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, PGI. Africa's first transcontinental open access rail network that starts in Lobito and ultimately will connect the Atlantic Ocean to the Indian Ocean. I think that's a pretty important priorities, including a signature project of the G7 Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, PGI, Africa's first transcontinental open access rail network that starts in Lobito and ultimately will connect the Atlantic Ocean to the Indian Ocean. I think that's a pretty important reason why to go to Angola. This will be the first visit of a president to Angola. That's also, I think, important to note as well. And so we're going to celebrate the evolution of the U.S.-Angola relationship, underscore the United States' continued commitment to African partners, and demonstrate how those type of collaborative partnerships can solve shared challenges that both countries have.
And in case y'all don't know, this is about resources as well. The United States needs resources that Africa has. Like minerals. You know, copper, aluminum, metals. I'm just saying, like, did y'all know that the government is working with Africa and these other countries to create a transcontinental rail network that goes from one continent to another? It is meant to connect the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean, with the final stop being in Tanzania. I hope I'm saying that right. I write so damn much. But yeah. So I just thought I'd bring that to y'all attention in case y'all had no idea. The budget that I saw was about 250 million. You know? So we got money to invest in a transcontinental rail network. We got money to invest in connecting continents and shit for resources. But we can't deal with the shit in our own fucking country. We don't have the money for that. But we got the money to invest in this transcontinental. What the fuck is the deficit again? So the country is so well off right now with the economy that we got enough to invest in a transcontinental rail network where we're connecting North America to Africa and the Indian Ocean. What? This is where the money that we're okay, because this is the government. Where do you think this money is coming from? We're investing in some shit we don't even know nothing about. A lot of us don't know anything about it. They're not expecting you to read. They're not expecting you to pay attention to the shit that really matters. They're not expecting you to give want feedback and want them to talk about how is it that they have the money to invest in this when we're connecting continents and shit, and we got all these fucking problems in America. We have yet to fix. Talking about we got to figure out where the money coming from. Y'all steady asking for money, but you dishing out money? What? And that's the current administration's doing. Not Trump. Not his administration. I don't know if it don't sound to me like it started with his administration, because this lady on the screen said that this is President Biden's mark in history. She expects it to be. That leads me to believe that this talk started during the Biden administration. So you mean to tell me that y'all can elect these people into office, but y'all can't question these people and what their intentions and motives are after they get elected? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And it goes back to what I have written here. Who do you trust? Who have you entrusted? Now, I want to talk about, because I got something else to say. Woo, goodness, I write so damn much. I write so damn much. I got something else that I want to bring to y'all attention real quick. You know, I ain't trying to scare y'all. I'm just trying to open your damn eyes, because they do this shit when they think you're not paying attention. They're distracting you with this other shit. So you're not paying attention to what's going on over here. So let's talk about the Hill real quick. Does anybody know that Hillary Clinton was in the news for supposedly trying to, let's say it like this, get out in front of the bulldozer before it hit the fucking building? That's what I think she's doing. So she's saying, she said there will be concerted efforts to distort and pervert Kamala Harris, who she is, what she stands for, what she's done. She goes on to talk about how they accuse Clinton of running a child trafficking operation. Now, what I want you to do is keep an open fucking mind about what's going on right now with the celebrities. I want you to understand they're not the only ones that have a part in this. It's not just the celebrities. It is not. It's your politicians too. They're involved. I don't care who don't want to hear it. I am telling you the truth. We all know what it's like for people to be telling the truth. At this point in time, we know what it's like for people to be telling the truth, and others to be like, oh, you know, we don't know that, blah, 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 blah. The shit get thrown in your fucking face, and then you looking stupid. Pay attention. This is not the time to be closed-minded at all. Because while you're seeing justice on this side, injustice is going on this side. You're missing it. I'm going to go ahead and finish. She said, this is dangerous stuff. She said that don't be surprised. She said she don't know what it's going to be, that they're going to put the story out about Kamala Harris. I want to know what the fuck this story is. A story is coming out about Kamala Harris. And Clinton is telling y'all, don't be surprised. She's saying she don't know what it is. I don't believe that shit. But she said she doesn't know what it is. But it will be something. And we'll have to work very, very hard to make sure that it is exposed as the lie that it is. Is it a lie? Because we don't know that. We don't know that. And I want to know what this lie is that's about to come out about Kamala Harris. Y'all so busy. Let me tell you something. I don't know how many politicians are involved. I just know that they are. If you hear something about Kamala Harris, at this point, y'all shouldn't be fucking surprised. I feel like stuff is hitting y'all so much, y'all don't know what to do. It's simple. Pay attention. You need to pay attention. Stop believing that the shit is a lie simply because this is a politician. So what? Politicians don't lie. Stop believing that when a celebrity comes out and says, that's not true, that didn't happen. Celebrities don't lie. What kind of shit is it that you believe these people who have money, you're believing these people who have money, and then now that shit is blowing up in your fucking face. You're looking stupid. What the fuck you gonna think? What do you think is gonna happen with the beehive? Matter of fact, that shit already happening. But what the fuck you think gonna happen with the beehive? You know, all you ride or dies out there, are you still riding and dying? They've proven to y'all over and over and over and over and over and over and over, they don't care about y'all. They out here when the press looks good, when they're speaking positive. Remember a couple weeks ago when Kamala Harris was with Oprah Winfrey and they brought all those celebrities out? Tracy Ellis Ross, Chris Rock, Meryl Streep, and J-Ho. And what did I say? We're going to act like J-Ho don't got something going on right now. We're going to act like J-Lo is not in the news right along with P. Diddy right now. We're going to act like Oprah Winfrey is not in the news right now and has been on multiple occasions associated with the same type of people we're dealing with right now in the court. Same people. What the fuck do they have in common, y'all? What do they have in common? That's what I'm saying. It's time for us to wake up. You need to wake up. Ignorance is not bliss. And oh Lord, I can't stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. Pay attention to your children. The curriculums in the schools, and I'm not just talking about the public schools. I'm talking about the colleges, universities. I'm talking about all of that. Who the fuck do you think comes up with those curriculums? Why is it that the teachers have to teach this? They cannot teach this. If they teach this, they're jeopardizing their careers. Children are not free to learn what they want to learn. Who do you think is coming up with these fucking curriculums? What is the difference between the private colleges and the public ones? I've said this before. The United States is united by diversity. I don't know how else to stress that. We're united by diversity. That's what we all have in common. Why do you think this class is here? This class is here. This class is here. This class is here. It's meant for us to be challenged against each other. A fight to the fucking top. That's what it's meant to be. And y'all sending y'all kids out there to fight for it. Who's following up with their damn children, though? I don't understand what the fuck is wrong with parents who want to be parents but don't want to be fucking parents. I don't understand that. Y'all got the P. Diddy scandal going on that been going on for a while. But most of the time, y'all are talking about the sex. That should be the priority of the conversation. We're talking about minors. What the fuck are y'all priorities? The children should be the fucking focus. Don't nobody give a shit if all these fucking celebrities are gay. Don't nobody give a shit. The problem is that they hide it. They're using it as a form of abuse and control. Are you kidding me? Y'all can go and buy their fucking albums. Y'all can go and promote their fucking events. Y'all can go to their damn concerts. Buy their fucking clothes. But you can't demand that they come out here and answer for the shit they're being accused of after all that fucking money y'all spent. Are you kidding me? Listen, I mean, this shit, when I say it's far from over, it is. It's far from over. Far from over. Y'all don't know how deep this shit go. And it's crazy because when I was younger, I was one of those ostracized kids who couldn't understand why I could never fit in. It just seems like I was always the oddball. Always the oddball. Always getting picked on, always getting bullied. I didn't talk, I just looked. That's because I was an observer. But all of the ones that were ostracized now are the ones that you guys, you called us crazy, you called us mental, because we knew shit early. Before our time, we could see shit. But when you're young, a lot of times you don't know how to convey it in the way people need to understand it. You don't know. How easy was it for adults to shut a child up? How easy was it? How fucking easy was it to shut a child up? She's just a child. Who gonna believe her? You better not open your mouth. You better not say nothing. And it's just like I said in my other videos. Black people can't say shit to me. I don't give a fuck what my color is. I don't give a fuck what your color is. We're not all alike. And like I said before, we're not all on the same wavelength. But black people seem to have a problem when other black people be telling them some shit. They seem to have a problem with it. And I wonder why. You think it's because me and you are the same? No, bitch, we're not the same. Why can't y'all get that? We're not the fucking same. We're not. We're not. We're different. Why is that a problem? Because we're different. This group over here done labeled us as crazy, mental. We don't know what we're talking about. And the whole time, we've been right. The whole fucking time. You mad at me because I'm not a follower? You mad at me because I won't conform to that bullshit? Because I know bullshit. Whether you do or not. I'm still trying to figure out why you feel like I'm the competition with you. Why am I the competition? Because we're the same color. But why is that? Why are we in competition with each other? It's not enough for you to be able to help me with something that you know about without me feeling like I'm less than. And I need to do what you say. I need to do it the way you do, or I'm not gonna make it. Even if I'm not okay with that, that's what you're telling me I need to do. And you think I'm gonna do it. That's where you get me fucked up. Because I'm not gonna do it. And if you look at people like me, truth tellers, a lot of us have been pushed to the side and dismissed by society and even our own people. Why? Because we're going against the grain. And we don't need an army to do it. And like that attorney said, he said, there's strength in numbers, because it is. Especially for a cause, it's strength in numbers. So right now, he got 120 victims. That could grow to 240 victims. That could grow to 360 victims. And then what the fuck you gonna say? Is it gonna be too much for you to believe? Let me tell y'all something, okay? Because I'm somebody who, when I speak from experience, not just education. I speak for experience. And when you see this behind me, you see this, all of it, okay, all of it. Experience is the best teacher. But it's not my fault if you don't listen. I fulfill my purpose by telling you. I fulfill my purpose by warning you. If you choose to listen, good. If you choose not to listen, that's on you as well. You're going to own the good and the fucking bad. You're going to be accountable for everything you've partaken in. Everything you've had knowledge of. Every decision and action you chose to take. And that includes you being in the room with 30 fucking people. 10 of them are minors. You are an adult with 30 people in the room and 10 of them are minors. Regardless if you participated in what was about to happen to them, if you stood there and you watched, if you bought the minors there knowing what was going to happen, you're going to be held accountable as well. Because that's knowledge. That's what you saw. And if you bought them there or facilitated them getting there, you're going to be accountable for that as well. Just because you didn't perform the act, that doesn't mean that you're not liable for something. That's not what that means. Not even according to our criminal justice system. That is not what that means. If you want to be associated with this person in their limelight, when you get money, when you branding, when you marketing, when you advertising, you better stand with them when the shit hit the fan too. Because we all know P. Diddy was about loyalty, was he not? That was big. That was big with him. Loyalty. It was big with him. So, like, if you loyal when he doing this bullshit and y'all partying and having a good fucking time, be loyal to him now. That his ass is locked the fuck up. Go ahead. And you still gonna be held accountable for what the fuck you did or didn't do. Y'all some fucking cowards. All you goddamn celebrities out here are fucking cowards. All of you. All of you. All of you hiding behind the press and media and hiding behind your lawyers because they telling you not to talk. You look even worse. You know what you know. Nobody can hold you accountable for what you don't know, but definitely for what you do know. Definitely what you do know. I'm here for the shit show. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't use that word given what we're talking about here. I probably shouldn't use that word. But I'm ready for all this shit to go down. All of them. All of them. All of them need to go down. All of them. All of them who knew what happened, who stood around, watched it happen, who facilitated it happening, who were a part of the trafficking. All of them need to go down. But speaking of strength in numbers, the cowards know that as well. They know that as well. I think you're more powerful when you're alone because you put fear in the hearts of people. That have something to hide. They don't want you to come out with the truth. And as soon as you start talking, they try to silence you. Each and every time. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of a situation that I went through with the government. Because I wasn't I'm not no fucking lap dog. Because I wasn't going with the flow. Because I questioned the logic behind what they were trying to have me do. They retaliated against me. They took it out on my evaluation. And the reasoning why they did it, the reasoning why they took it out on my evaluation was because I wouldn't remove the read receipts from my emails at work. I don't give a fuck you a GS fucking 15. This is my goddamn inbox. You don't control my fucking inbox. You can ask me and I can deny. I can decline. That's exactly what I did. And you know what she did? She took it out on my evaluation. She took points from it. And that was the only reason why I had points taken away. She refused to sign it if they didn't take away points from my evaluation. She refused to sign it. But that's an example. You know, this person didn't like to be questioned. They didn't like to be questioned. Why? Because they were GS 15. Question. They didn't want you questioning them. I did it anyway. You ain't giving me no fucking answers. The manager under you ain't giving me no fucking answers. Somebody need to tell me something. You got mad because I questioned you. Now you ain't helping me. Now you letting my job expire. And then here comes the termination letter. After you told me multiple times you were going to help me, you let my shit expire and you gave me a termination letter. So this shit, when I say it's not just the celebrities, it's government too. I'm telling you, it is. It's government too. If you don't get on board with the way they run their shit, you're a problem. You're a problem. Because you won't conform, you won't do what they tell you to do. You're asking too many questions. I don't have the patience no more to sit here and go back and forth with people. And those people are closed-minded individuals. You don't get anywhere with people like that. All they know is what they know. And going outside of that is something that they're not comfortable with. Some people just want to argue with you for the sake of arguing. Some of them do it to try to wear you down. Listen, I care about children. Very much so. I care about children. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what ailment they have. I care about children. I would never allow something to happen to a child that I went through or that I would never allow my children to go through. I'm not going to allow that to happen to another child. So what does that say about these celebrities that were trafficked themselves or handed over for the cause that went along with it? They didn't understand it, but they continued to go along with it, whether they were comfortable or not. And then later in the game, they introduced other children and young adults into this situation. I don't understand how you can sit there and watch somebody be assaulted, because that's what it is. That's what it is. Because it was without consent. And minors can't give consent regardless. What does that say about the adults who were perpetrating this shit? You getting with 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. They're not grown-ups. They're still children. And I mean, y'all not paying attention to the fact that a lot of these people, R. Kelly and P. Diddy had somebody in common that they both knew. Sean Carter. So did Russell Simmons. And nobody has anything to say about that? Why? Because they got money? Who the fuck cares? Who cares? Who cares? Are you going to die with that shit? Because you can't take it with you. Who the fuck cares? How are you justifying this shit? It makes me sick to my stomach to see people justifying this shit. You don't get to provide no reasoning for nobody else. Let they coward ass come out here and talk about some shit. It was something else I wanted to show y'all. I'm going to see if I can find it. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to see if I can find it. Because I was watching a video and they were talking about, I saw Boosie had made a post. I'm going to see if I can find it. Boosie made a post. And I'm sitting here reading it like, what the hell you mean, Boosie? He was saying something to the effect of, you know, people get flown out, or women get flown out all the time to be with celebrities. It's just how it goes. But we ain't just talking about women, are we, Boosie? We're not just talking about women. We're talking about kids, minors, young adults, female and male. Don't nobody give a shit. Let me say it like this. I'm not going to say I don't give a shit about what an adult does, but an adult can make up their mind about what they want to do. That doesn't mean that they can't be violated. But they can consent to do whatever they want to. If they consent to being flown out to be with a man or a woman, fine, whatever, who cares? You're an adult. You're not a child. A child cannot consent with an adult to do anything. But a parent, their guardian, can consent on their behalf. Usher. What kind of world is this? Like, what kind of bullshit is this? And y'all wonder why people don't take this shit seriously. Like, who the fuck is taking America seriously? All the bullshit going on here. And shit's still coming out. It's still coming out. Shit is still coming out. But there is something y'all can do. Open your mouths. Create boundaries. They don't want to do this shit. Y'all don't do it either. Y'all don't promote, don't support, don't buy, don't do this shit. Y'all gotta understand, if y'all who are supporting these people, y'all support them. Look what happened to J-Lo's ticket sales to her concert. Nobody was buying them shits. She had to cancel. That's how. That's how. That's what you can do. A lot of these people are attention seekers. That's a lot of them. But what happens when you ain't getting that attention? What happens when you done manufacture all these damn shirts, all these damn outfits, all these damn bras and panties, all this memorabilia type shit, and it doesn't get sold? You don't profit. That's what that means. You don't profit. Nobody said you got to go in and buy their shit. Y'all do that. No different than Michael Jordan. Everybody want a pair of Jordans, don't they? Don't they? But what happens when you stop supporting it? When you stop buying it? He don't profit. These people want you to support them. But then when you're looking for their support, where the fuck are they? Where are they? What are they doing? What are they doing to gain your support? What are you supporting them? Simply because of who they are? What they look like? That's a dumbass reason to do that. I have no remorse for anybody that goes down behind this shit. None. None. None whatsoever. And I want all the victims, every last one of them, I want them all to come out and start talking. Do not be afraid, because that's what they're banking on. Do not be afraid. That's what they want. They want you to be afraid. They don't want you to talk. You have direct knowledge. That's why they don't want you to talk. Because you have direct knowledge. How malicious is it for this man to have had a whole camera set up recording people and they didn't know anything? And he used it to bribe them. And he's been doing it for years. And he had help with a lot of shit he was doing. And you mean to tell me they shouldn't have to pay for what they were doing? You mean to tell me you want to have sympathy for this man talking about the jail cell he's in? the living conditions. Who the hell care about that when you get locked up? Y'all care why? Because he a celebrity? Who the fuck cares? Something ain't right. Y'all call people like us crazy. Y'all say people like us don't know what we talking about. It's because a lot of us, like me, our discernment won't allow us to process that shit. We can't. It doesn't make sense. Joe Smoke from the fucking street got locked up for selling drugs. We don't know him, but it's okay for him to get locked up and get put in deplorable conditions. But because everybody knows this international name, oh, I can't believe he's in these horrible conditions. I don't understand why that is even a concern. Why the fuck are y'all concerned about his jail cell? It's a fucking jail cell. It's not supposed to be nice. We don't send people to prison for them to live good. You lost that privilege when your ass went behind bars. The moral of the story is live morally. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't think you God, because that's what you was doing out here playing God. You can get anything you want. I bet you can't. You can't get your ass up out of that jail cell right now, can you? And your parents don't look like they rushing in to save the day either. I wonder why. They ain't gotta rush in to save your ass because they going right along with you. It's over for all of y'all involved. People are waking up. Some of them slower than others, but people are waking up. They ain't just going for the la-di-da no more. That shit some ain't adding up. They still probing. They still asking questions, and that's what they should do. You got something from consumers, right? We gave you our energy, didn't we? And you can't give back? That should give all y'all pause. This is what y'all investing into. This is what y'all investing into. Let me tell you something. This book, I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to show y'all. This book, from what I heard, then got pulled from Amazon. I wonder why. Why is it pulled? Why did they pull it from Amazon? They claim that this book wasn't real, and that includes her kids. They claim this book was not real, that the stuff in this book was not true. Y'all gonna believe that? Look at the situation everybody in right now. And y'all gonna be quick to believe that. Talking about Kim didn't write this book. So these weren't Kim words. Whose words were they? With the type of information that's in this book, who could have attached to this shit besides Kim? In a setting of only 3 people. Her, Diddy, and somebody else. Who would have known what happened? But this not her book. Of course, I'm going to put that out in the media if it's telling things that I need to stay secret. I don't need to get out. All of this shit is about cover up. I don't want the public to know this. I don't want nobody to know this. This got to stay hidden. You mean to tell me, do y'all honestly think that this lady died from pneumonia at her age? Kim Porter was only like 47, 48. Y'all think she died from pneumonia? When in the book, she tells us that numerous other people that she would get involved with would somehow end up with pneumonia as well. Is there something in the fucking air we don't know about? All these people die from the same thing at their age. Now look at who Puffy is. Look at how large he became. And you think that he's not capable of providing the means to who he needs to get what he needs to get done. He's God, remember? That's what he told y'all. He's God. The question is, which God? Who's God? Because we don't no. Mm-mm. And one thing about me, I don't listen. They put stuff out in the media. I read what I read, but I also study people. And what I can tell y'all is a lot of these celebrities out here that y'all been gloating on and following and idolizing, like I said, that don't do nothing for y'all. They don't do nothing for y'all. You think they're going to come anywhere near where you grew up, where you live? No. I'm just very disgusted by a lot of this shit that's coming out. It's so much shit that I want to say. And you know, I try not to make this about color. But when I'm speaking to my people, I want them to know that I'm speaking to them. I'm talking about the people that have my skin color. That's what I'm talking about. Even though we're not the only ones that's guilty of it. Don't include me in your fucking groups. Don't include me in anything that you do. We're not the same. We don't all think on the same wavelength. The same types of problems in Black communities are going on in all these other communities too. But the ones in the Black communities are the ones that's being exploited. And I really want Black people to understand that you're the commodity. There is something about you that is very important to their system. That is what I'm telling you. Y'all are hard-headed, very stubborn. You don't listen. You're challenging to each other. You're very aggressive. It's almost like you think you have to be all the time. But it comes a point in time when those excuses are only excuses. They don't hold the same power or weight anymore. If you still talking about inconveniences that you had 10 fucking years ago, and you still have them, the question becomes why? And it's not always somebody else, because of somebody else. Let me get off this shit. I gotta get off this stream because I done been on here. It's going on 2 hours. I didn't mean for this to be that long, but I'm telling y'all, when it comes to stuff like this, I'm really looking forward to these victims getting their justice. They're getting their due diligence. They deserve it. Because I know what it's like to carry that burden of being abused and not knowing how to get people to believe you. Feeling like no one has your best interest. You don't know who to trust. Paranoia taking over. Anxiety taking over. Depression taking over. And it's sad. It's really sad. I feel sorry for all of the victims, but I feel like you're empowering so many people. Continue to come forward. Continue to talk. There are those of us who have been there. We're advocating for you. We've been there. And a lot of times victims don't want to reach out and speak to strangers. Because if they feel like you're not going to understand, if you look at them funny, if your tone is a certain way, they're reluctant to talk to you. But there are those of us out here who've been there. We know exactly what you're going through. It wasn't on this grand of a scale, though, where you're dealing with high-profile people. But it doesn't matter if you have money or if you don't. That doesn't matter. It's happening. It has been happening. And when we tried to talk and we tried to tell somebody we did what we were supposed to do, nothing happened. And it does something to you. It happened to me as a child, and I know what it did to me as a child. But there is a community out here. There is a community out here where we understand. Because when you're abused sexually, you're abused mentally and emotionally as well. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here.